together to our Hamblen County Legislative Body Committee meetings in order for this day, September 14th. Excuse me. Kind of ahead of September 8th. Yeah. 2025. I'll ask all commissioners, if you will, please, turn your microphones on and speak clearly and to the point. You're coming up for public comments. If you'll please, if you need to, please adjust the mic so you can speak directly into it and speak as clearly as possible. Sometimes we have a little bit of a difficult time hearing what you're saying, and plus it doesn't come over well on the video. So if you'll do that, we would greatly appreciate that. So let's get down to business. We're starting with our Justice Public Safety Committee. I'll turn this over to Chairman Tim Horner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Justice Center Public Safety Committee to order. Anyone wishing to address may do so at this time. Seeing none, item 3A, no old business. Item 4A, new business, Justice Center project update, Jaron Dowater.
That was addressed to me. I think I'm the biggest offender of this mic here, so hope you all are doing well. We'll keep it short and sweet tonight. We don't have any change orders to present. Just a quick update on where the project is sitting at this time. Testing, commissioning, coordination of systems is still continuing. The architect and consultants will be out the week of September 22nd for that entire week to review, test, and verify prior to reaching a substantial completion here. The gate is the biggest holdup at this point. We mentioned that, I believe it was the last meeting that we had. There is an availability of that product going to be here on the 9th of October. They're going to do a lot of the work ahead of time so that it's more of a set in place and finalize. It'll probably be a week or two beyond that to finalize the work. Where they'll come back out, the architect consultants will verify in the field that everything is done and complete to reach that substantial completion. Exterior stairs, one of the things that was voted on last time for the change order will be starting this week, and then that will follow right behind that. Beyond that, our contract's sitting at $95,166,117.11, which is including that change order we approved last time, putting it our calculations at 99.03% complete. I didn't even show pictures, but they're running. There's nothing new to show.
I turned the mic.
It was more for visual to start. Yes, sir.
Try to put this as delicately as possible. Did we correct the bird droppings problem?
Well, we looked to the contractor for a solution, which is adding bird spikes along the top. It's something that we vetted internally. The cost to do that and to reach all those high eyebrows that are up there, all the ledgers, was a substantial cost, a very substantial cost. So we looked at other items, and one of which is it's a bird deterrent. It's an ultrasonic system that, after it has been sourced, is probably less than $600–700 to try. So I believe that's ordered. It'll be in place here shortly just to test the system. I think it was worth that compared to the very substantial cost we were looking at.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jaron.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Chairman Horner. We'll now move over to the Finance Committee, and I will call on Chairman Rodney Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Finance Committee to order. Is anyone wishing to address this committee at this time on agenda items only? Seeing none, we will go down to number 3, recurring business. You've got your expenditure reports and your monthly checks. I hope you all have went through them. We have no old business, so we'll move to new business. We'll go to 5A, be the Cherokee Park Campground Electrical Update Project. the bid results. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I would like to remind the commission that this body voted to accept a tourism enhancement grant. It was for $110,000 total, and within that $110,000, we had 3 projects that were going to be taken care of at Cherokee Park, one being the roof at Horner Daughtery Pavilion, which has been completed. The second would be electrical upgrades to the campground in certain sections, and the third would be what's left would go toward paving. So the bids came in for the electrical upgrades. If you can look at that, the very top one, $13,270. Extremely low compared to the others. It causes just a little bit of eyebrow raise. If you look in that, there's an exception, up to $20,000. So what we're doing, we're going to recommend that we accept this low bid with an exception up to $20,000 and create a contract that they cannot exceed $20,000. There is expected, I would imagine, according to that, trenching and conduits that will need to be replaced, which I suspect is there. But even if you add the extra money up to $20,000, it's still $12,000, right at $12,000 less to the next bid. So that would be our recommendation from our office, and I'll remind you that this is a 90% grant, 10% match. So anything it's spent, we owe 10%. So if it is up to $20,000, you do the math. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I go, in my line of work, I see on the bid stuff, so normally, just a question, I guess it may be for the grant. If you do a public bid, most often, a conditional bid is not allowed. Meaning, some of these exceptions, like the last one that says no exceptions take, where there's 2 of them,
Exactly.
and I don't know if that's a item that.
I agree. I mean, what you're saying is, right, but it was duly noted with these exceptions. And again, we're recommending to accept with the exception, not as, that it is a rock solid offer. It may not take that. But it raised our eyebrow a little bit that they're so low. It's a family operation. We feel like their overhead is lower, and that's part of their reason, where some of these others are companies that employ a lot of people. What I understand, this family operation is small and low-key, and therefore maybe they can absorb some of that overhead.
Yeah, and just maybe something to check, because usually in the work that we do, we're not allowed to even accept those type bids at all. So we have to throw them out, whether it's the best bid or not. So just a point.
I'm at the mercy of this body.
Well, can we follow up with a question here?
Yes.
So if we did throw that out, that looks like the Andrews, the 31. So what made you throw this one out? Because they did have exceptions?
Well, in the stuff that I'm used to seeing is like we've got here, looks like a base bid and an alternate, right? And most of those things are identified in the plans, the specs, or whatever for
Right.
what the conditions to bid against. So if
I'll remind the commission, if you throw out exceptions, your next lowest bid is $49,000. So,
right.
again, I'm at the mercy of this commission.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
The way I read this is that their base bid and their alternate bid are set in stone, and then they have a potential of a change order not to exceed.
That's correct.
So, it would be no different than Mr. Reed approving change orders on the jail. It'd be a yes or a no.
Yes.
Yeah, in my experience, most time you might have multiple alternates. So you have a base bid, alternate 1, which would be what's shown, and then alternate 2
Right.
would have been, shown as deductions towards or additions to what you may want. Then it's a considered bid.
In
Sure.
order unit prices.
Correct.
Any other questions? Ms. Green?
All right, you brought up a subject. I'm not familiar with bidding processes like this. I am with towing. But if there was another alternate, I'm assuming it would be listed, Mr. Mayor?
Excuse me?
If there had been a second alternate, it would have been listed, I'm assuming?
Yes, I'm assuming the same thing. This is the bid document that you have before you. This is what we received on the day of the bid.
But all packets were identical the same with what the requirements were, correct, sir?
These folks, ma'am, got the same information. Everybody on the same day bid this project.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman, to accept.
Second. Second by Mr. Reed. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Go to 5B, Construction Change Directory number 1 with the Hamblen County Health Department Construction. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, last month we approved change orders to investigate plumbing. For one of them, it was for plumbing that is in the floor. It is very imperative that we get this taken care of immediately so they can move forward with the project. They've got a lot of concrete cut out, a lot of flooring plumbing that needs to be repaired. We have with us tonight Laura Johnston with Barbara McMurray. If she would, you could address the commission and these changes.
Thank you, Mayor Pepperell. I'm Laura Johnston with Barbara McMurray, as the mayor said. And we're here with a construction change directive, which is a document, an AIA document, which allows the project or the work to move forward while you have a dispute in either time or amount of the change. So once the exploratory work was done to these are existing sewer pipes under the slab of the building. Once that work was done, the contractor came back and requested $69,474 to replace 412 linear feet of sewer under the slab, plus 88 linear feet outside the building. So my office and our consultants reviewed this, feel like we need some more information and are not convinced that there's that much sewer line that needs to be replaced. So in order to not stop construction, this is we feel like the best method to use this construction change directive, because what you're doing, if you approve this, is saying you may move forward, but you, the contractor, have to submit more information to us, and it's more like a time and cost methodology for moving ahead with this. So in the meantime, we will do more investigation on our part, ask the contractor more questions. But again, we don't want to stop the project.
So to add to what she just said, what we're asking for is approval of a construction change directive up to $69,000. Anything over and above will have to be vetted. Barbara McMurray is on the scene checking that and doing inspections to make sure. But their consultant felt like maybe some of this did not need to go, so we're hoping to stay under that $69,000.
So, yes, sir, thank you. So the 69, as it says here, is the max.
That is correct at this point, yes,
We
ma'am.
have a chance of being less once y'all investigate. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr.
Do we know if there's a third party that did the investigation, or was it the contractor?
The contractor hired a plumber
Third party,
to do it. Now, there was a third party before the project was bid that we hired during design to find the lines. And according to that party. They did not think there was as much damage as this person feels.
So we have a way to investigate and quantify. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carden?
Yeah, do you know, was the exploratory work, was it CCTV work that they did on this?
Was, yes.
Okay.
Ms. Howe?
Yes, sir, thank you. How old is that building? Do we know?
Right off the hat, I do not
Me either.
recall. It's several years old. I mean, I'm afraid to guess, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
20, 25 years old possibly, but I'm not 100% sure.
Any other questions? Not, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Richards, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ahern. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Motion carries. Thank you. Move to 5C, budget amendment. Ms. Amanda Hill.
So, hello. The budget amendment before you tonight is for Cherokee Park. During the budget process for this year, Commission agreed to fund $30,000 for Cherokee Park to purchase a used pickup truck. And since then, Cherokee Park has sold a golf cart that they had. They surplused and sold a golf cart, and that brought $2,875. And then at the end of last year, in June, they sold a second golf cart that they had, which brought $6,700. So we have the $30,000 budgeted for the used truck, but if Commission approves this budget amendment, we'll move the money from the sales of the golf carts into their vehicle line, and that will allow them to buy a new vehicle, a new truck, for $7,800 more than what was budgeted.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Walker. Any discussion?
How much did the golf cart sell for?
The one we sold last month brought $2,875. The one they sold in June brought $6,700. And I never moved that back into their budget, and so it rolled into fund balance at the end of June. And that's why and I'm not taking the full $6,700 because they don't need it, so we're just moving $5,000.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have this time.
Thank you, Chairman Long.
Before he switches out, may I ask one question about the Finance Committee before he gets out of it?
Sure.
I had sent a request to Miss Amanda to ask some questions about some of the expenditures that were in our packet. And we had one in there for Anderson and Van, and I'm assuming that's our contract attorneys for the jail of $980. I was told I couldn't get the information. We had to have a record request, but in all fairness, we need to know what that was before we
And
go into that category.
I went ahead, I did send the email about the records request, but I went ahead and replied with that information, because
That's to require it after I left because it wasn't there when I went out the door.
so I sent you copies of the invoice and the information that was with that. But yes, it was for the construction, the
Okay.
contract attorney.
If I remember your presentation last month, we had premiums for Tennessee Risk Management. And I was thinking you told me at that time, and if I'm wrong, please correct me because my memory is short, that we paid premiums in June.
Right.
And I noticed there's one in there for $7,787.
That's right. That was paid out of the sanitation fund, and that was where they added the two new side load and garbage trucks that they received. That's the coverage, the cost to cover those two new garbage trucks.
Okay. And I also noticed that there was a bill, we're paid out to Bill Britton for $1,920. And I was thinking his contract ended in June, and I'm wondering why we're doing that.
He had a contract, the previous contract was for a part-time employee, I think is what commission approved. But he's currently doing consulting work outside of, he's no longer considered a part-time employee. And through the finance department, he's still consulting on some grants that we have open. And until those are closed out, that's what that is for.
And I'm assuming that's a 1099, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you both. I'm sorry. Thank you, Chairman Horn.
No
I
problem.
apologize.
No problem. Okay. Now move over to the Personnel Committee, and I'll call on Chairman Thomas Doden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Personnel Committee meeting to order. To any visitors wishing to address this committee, you may do so now. Seeing none, we'll move forward. Item 3, old business, we have none. Item 4, new business. Item 4A is approval of military pay submission. And we have one associate with 12 years of service. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Horner. Thank you, sir. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B is amendments to the employee handbook. And there are quite a few in here. We'll get with, I think Miss Amanda Hale is going to cover that for us and go over what's changing.
So the changes before you tonight, there's 5 of them, and we can go through them one by one. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. A few years ago, on the first one, it's a change regarding the Department of Health and the education agreement that we had. Several years ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, Commission approved, the state of Tennessee asked that if they hired like a dentist or a doctor at the health department, that through that, there could be some like student loan repayment agreement. And that money then would be in turn reimbursed to the county by the state. So that's been in our policy for a few years, but what we have come back, the state now has asked us to change that to where if someone comes in as a new employee that qualifies for this, they must sign this agreement, this request for funding to help repay their student loans within 30 days of their hire date. So that's the only change. We're putting in a sentence that says, you gotta sign this paper within 30 days of employment. So that's the first one. Any questions there before?
I have one.
Yep.
Do we, in order for us to put them in for that, do we have any kind of requirement for them to stay with us for so long for that, ma'am?
Yep, so in that, the state does have a clause in there that they must remain employed for, it says they will commit in writing to at least 1 year of continued service following the last paid or time-supported semester of the program. So there is a clause in there regarding that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else on the first one? The second one regards vacation accrual. And the change here says that after 6 months of employment, an employee will receive 1 week's vacation. They're not going to receive the next week's vacation until their 1 year anniversary date. Because currently what we have had happen in a few cases is, let's say a person was hired on in May. In 6 months, they're going to get their 1 week vacation. And then in January, the way the current policy is, they're going to get another week's vacation. Well, we've had some instances where people have purposely waited till January, get their week's vacation, and they leave. So this is to hopefully help deter that, that people won't use us till January, get their vacation, and then leave. So instead of giving them another week in January, they have to wait till their anniversary date. And let's say in this instance, an example, May, they would get another week then. So that's what the second change regards, is that it's not going to roll until their first anniversary date. Any questions on that one? The third change is regarding sick leave. Currently, our policy says that after 5 missed consecutive days, that a doctor's note can be required by the department, but we're changing that to 3. We've had a few departments request that go from 5 to 3. You know, if someone's out over 3 days consecutively, that they can require a doctor's excuse. The fourth change is regarding bereavement leave. And you can tell in your packet, it just better specifies the relatives, I will say, and what qualifies for bereavement leave. In addition to that, we have added for extended family, so aunts and uncles or nieces and nephews, that an employee could get up to 2 hours, and that just allows them enough time to attend a funeral service. Not days of bereavement, but just a couple of hours. So that's a change.
Ms.
And-
Linda, if I could, real
Yes.
quick. On that one, the only question I have is, we've eliminated the step, as far as the step parents and step children and such. That's not listed any longer when it was in the lower section.
Well, it actually, up there in the top, it says spouse, child, parent, sibling, grandparent, grandchild, and then we went into
Okay.
in-laws or step relatives.
Of the
So-
above categories. Thank you.
Yeah, if
I
that-
just missed that.
Is that what you're
Yes.
talking, okay, I just want to be sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything else? And then the last one has to do with inclement weather, and currently, our handbook doesn't specifically say about pay if we close the courthouse for snow, for example. And this sentence, adding this sentence that says during a declared no work period, full-time employees will receive administrative leave. And that just says that we're going to pay an employee if we're closed for inclement weather. Just puts it in writing. And that's all.
Any questions other than what's already been asked from Ms. Amanda on this? Do I hear a motion to approve these changes?
I make a motion, we approve changes, all 5 of them.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second was
Mr. Horner.
Mr. Horner. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Abstain with cause.
Thank you, sir. Motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. Now moving to the Public Services Committee. Call on Chairman Mike Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Call this committee to order. Any visitors wishing to address the committee about agenda items only have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, we'll carry on. Item 3A, we have no old business. Item 4A, surplus items for the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Mullins.
That's 3 vehicles for narcotics, one that we're getting rid of with high costs for maintenance, and 2 of the others we have to get rid of after 5 years of use, and that time's expired.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have any questions? Call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Get a second.
We have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ahern. Do we have, call for the vote? All in favor say aye. All opposed, the like sign. Motion carries. Item 4B, resolution to amend the zoning map of Hamblen County, Tennessee by rezoning District 02, tax map 024, parcels 160.11, 2702 Calvin Road, Morristown, Tennessee, 37814 from C1 to A1. Mr. Josh Cole.
Yes, sir, as you just stated, staff did receive a request from the property owner of 2702 Calvin Road to rezone their property from C1 Commercial to A1 Agricultural Forestry District. although this property is zoned commercial, it does contain residential uses and is surrounded entirely by residential use. The properties to the north and west are zoned A1, so this would be consistent with adjacent property. The properties to the south and east are zoned R1, Rural Residential District. Staff does recommend approval of this rezoning request to A1. One, it will bring the property into conformance. Two, it will remove any potential commercial development in the middle of a residential area in the future. And Planning Commission did vote in support of this request at their last monthly meeting. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to attempt to answer.
Is there any more C1 in this area right there around this?
Not that I know of. I mean,
Okay, well, how did this get C1
I don't know
started
the
with?
history of it. I'm gonna guess there may have been a commercial use there when zoning came into place in Hamblen County in 1990, but yeah, I thought it was random too, and thought this was a good step to help clean it up.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Cole?
I will correct myself. It was a regional planning commission that heard this. It is within the urban growth boundary, so it went to the Morrison Regional Planning Commission.
Any questions? Not, do we have a motion?
There's a gentleman back here that could answer that question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Neil Huff, I'm actually the owner of the property here. Several years ago, years and years ago, I've been here for 23 years. There's never been a business in there. The previous person had a small furniture refinishing thing going out of a garage, and he put a sign up, so they made him zone it commercial. We've been paying residential tax on it for the last 23 years. We've applied to have a dilapidated mobile home removed, and we're placing a double-wide trailer on there to improve the ground itself, and that's when we found out that it's actually commercial property, when it's sitting in the middle of a residential area.
Mr. Chairman, he needs to state his name.
Oh, state your name.
Could you state your name?
Again,
I'm Neil Huff. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you. Any other questions? If not, let's have a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
We have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Walker. Call for the vote.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Long.
Mr. Long.
Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed by a like sign. Motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson. Move into our Calendar and Rules Committee. I'll call once again on Chairman Thomas Doty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Calendar and Rules Committee meeting to order. If we have any visitors wishing to address the committee about agenda items only, you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we move forward. Old business, we have none. Item 4A is review of the calendar, regular calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Howell. Any discussion on this?
Chairman, no.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question,
Yes.
because I'm not exactly sure when it needs to be right. There are some billings from the county attorney that I have some questions about, so do I need to get it tonight, or do we need to get it the 18th? You tell me, sir, please.
If I'm not mistaken, and we'll call on our county mayor, correct me if I am, but I think that has to be done when we remove them from the consent calendar during the regular meeting, because we have a section for items removed from the consent calendar, and that's where these fall under.
Yes, sir, I would agree.
So that'd be the 18th. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for the clarification, Mr. Mayor.
Any more discussion on this? Call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B is the review of the consent calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. That draws to conclusion our business for tonight. Thank everyone for their attendance and participation. All minds clear? Stand adjourned.
You behave yourself now. I did a position on the website, so I was curious to see what it was. Me neither.